Ninth Fleet of the Xylar Dominion stretched across the void like a wall of steel. 10 dreadnoughts, 50 cruisers, hundreds of escorts, an armada that had erased civilizations and silenced rebellions with brutal efficiency. Their admirals had laughed when Earth issued its warning. Humanity was, after all, a latecomer to the stars, barely a century into interstellar travel. What could they possibly do against a fleet that had broken empires? The Xylar had expected Earth to beg for mercy, to plead for survival. Instead, the Terran ambassador had spoken with calm precision. Withdraw your fleet from Sol. Cross our boundary again, and you will not return. The Ninth Fleet entered Sol space anyway. Admiral Carvox, seasoned in 100 campaigns, believed it would be quick. The Xylar's ships had greater tonnage, thicker armor, superior energy output. Humanity's defense forces, the so-called Terran Union Navy, numbered barely a fraction of his strength. His soldiers sneered as they advanced. And then the Ninth Fleet vanished. The first sign came when the lead dreadnought, Ziritha's Fong, transmitted a burst of static and then, silence. Sensors aboard the remaining ships could not lock onto its position, though the Colossus was only light minutes ahead. One moment, it was there, a mass blotting out starlight. The next, gone. Admiral Carvox barked orders. Patrols spread wide, scanning for cloaking fields, for spatial distortions. The Xylar prided themselves on detection technologies so refined they could track a comet by the warmth of its core. Yet every scan returned nothing. Then the second dreadnought blinked out. No explosion. No debris. Just absence. Crew whispered of phase weapons, of extradimensional traps. Others muttered the old stories, the ones even the Xylar High Command suppressed, about humans who had once burned their own skies to deny conquest, about a species that thrived not in spite of war, but because of it. Within the command chamber of his flagship, Carvox scoffed at such tales. Humans lack the will to wield terror, he declared. They posture. They bluff. That is all. The third dreadnought vanished before his words finished echoing. What the Xylar never understood was that Earth's warning had not been arrogance. It had been restraint. Humanity's fleets were not larger. Their armor was not thicker. But buried deep in the asteroid belts and hidden within the folds of Saturn's rings were weapons designed in silence, tested in secret. Devices born from a union of desperation and genius, gravitic null fields, technologies outlawed by every interstellar treaty. Where the Xylar thought they saw emptiness, they were witnessing warheads that did not simply destroy ships, they erased their presence from the fabric of reality itself. The Terran engineers had learned long ago that you did not fight empires by matching them ship for ship. You fought them by making certainty itself collapse. So when the Xylar advanced into Sol, the humans did not meet them in glorious battle. They merely opened the traps already laid, like a hunter snapping snares around a beast too arrogant to see them. Panic spread across the Ninth Fleet. Entire wings of cruisers disappeared in silence, their transponders extinguished mid-signal. Communication channels flooded with screams cut short. Carvox ordered a full retreat, but the stars themselves seemed to betray him. Hyperspace drives failed to lock coordinates. Navigation charts looped back into dead ends. Every vector out of Sol led deeper into the maze humanity had woven. The Xylar called it sorcery. Humanity called it engineering. By the time Carvox realized the truth, only his flagship remained. Alone in the dark, he stared at Earth, that pale blue world turning serenely in its orbit, its people unaware, or perhaps utterly aware, of the annihilation occurring above their skies. The last transmission the Xylar Dominion ever received from the Ninth Fleet was not a scream of terror, nor a declaration of vengeance. It was a whisper carried on broken static. We should have listened. When Xylar scouts finally dared approach Sol centuries later, they found no wreckage, no evidence of battle, only silence where the Ninth Fleet should have been. Across the galaxy, empires revised their maps, shifting their borders a respectful distance from human space. For all their might, No one could answer the question that spread like wildfire among the stars. Where had the Ninth Fleet gone? Humanity knew. But they never spoke of it. Because sometimes the greatest warning is not what you say. It's what you make vanish without a trace.